Continuing from the last one, which was number 3, I made mention about priestesses who would employ the sexual favors of a so-called not necessarily not desirable or not as openly desirable male. May not have necessarily been because his looks or whatever. He may have been the one that in that particular society he wasn't considered high. He wasn't deemed a champion, a warrior, so to speak. And what I mean by that is this. A lot of the competitions now that centers around championships are all from mostly or from competitions that dealt with winning the favor and the anticipation of having the woman. Now, if you look at the basic cup or trophy, what does it look like? It's a big cup at the top of it, and then as it goes down to the bottom or the base, it's smaller, okay? And it has 2 handles on the side. Now, if you look at that closely, what does that represent? That's the uterus, birth canal, and the ovaries, or fallopian tubes. That's what that is. This is why cups are a very, very, very highly symbolic symbol today, because it meant that if you were the champion, the origins of a champion was the cat who won the favor of the women and got the booty, in so many words. Okay, so there's a cup with hockey. Okay, there are cups in football, baseball, a lot of competitions out there. That's the reason why. Okay, so back to what I was saying about the priestesses and the so-called not desirable male, so to speak. This was done on the low, meaning that she didn't allow everyone to know that she was employing the services of this guy, or they didn't know they were employing the services of these guys. Okay? See what I'm saying? So, this, you could say, is one of your early origins of your so-called maintenance men, or splackavellis. They were men that women desired to have relationships with, especially sexual relationships, outside of their so-called normal or base life. And they could have been married. They could have been chosen for another. That didn't stop them. Okay? So like I said before, prostitution not only occurred with men seeking women, there were women seeking men. Okay? Now, some of the earliest origins dealing with prostitution, okay, involved, I guess you could say, temples or churches. Okay? It used to be a long time ago that when you receive spiritual salvation, enlightenment, and you wish to feel the power of God surging through you, the power of creation, the power of happiness, nirvana, or heaven, you went to the temple and you had sex. Okay? Now, you'll find this when you look up the words porn in research, and it will refer you to porne. Porne, prostitute, and priestess are all synonymous. They mean the same thing, meaning this. In these so-called temples or churches, the priests or priestesses not only knew the knowledge of the heavens, which is dealing with astrology, the heavens of the earth, dealing with, or the knowledge of the earth, dealing with nature, they were also skilled in enhancement or exercises that can enhance your spiritual attainment. And one of those enhancements was done through sexual intercourse. These are some of your origins dealing with Tantra, Taoist sexual techniques, whatever you wish to call them, whatever you select to call them. These are the origins of that. if not that, okay? And these temples employed these priests and priestesses who would heal through sexual union, who would heal through massage. They were skilled in acupuncture, acupressure. They were skilled in reflexology. All these major sciences, okay? So you went to the temple for healing as well as sexual healing. Come on, Marvin Gaye made a song about it. That is very true. If you can have a harmonious or balanced relationship, that is healing sexually. If not, that's murder sexually and spiritually also. So, dealing with that, and it wasn't no big deal for anyone to go through the temple, especially individuals who weren't chosen for another in marriage, whether it was arranged or otherwise. They could go to the temple at certain times and get their rocks off. One of your origins of so-called orgies, too. Now, keep in mind, I'm not necessarily saying I condone and support these things. Now, I'm just giving you the origins. Priests and priestesses would meet together on certain full moons or certain equinoxes, and they will all have sex with each other in this big major orgy to help symbolize bringing in this energy. Now, all peoples, especially all Kemetic or deep complected peoples, didn't do this. Some of them did, though, okay? And this was a way of healing and bringing in energy. I will admit, being as experienced as I am, or, in sexual relations, I can say that if your intent is in alignment and your mind is correct when you hook up when you get together with that other person, that sexual experience is high, especially when you understand how to deal with erogenous zones, how to make sure that the G spot is stimulated, how to make sure that on the male you stay close to the tip of the head of the phallus or the lingam to cause the most intense sexual release. Okay? And what we call sex magic is done from this. You generate this energy through sexual intercourse, and while you're having sexual intercourse, you're concentrating on a particular thought or idea that you wish to come into manifestation. Okay? And you handle the specifics before the sexual act. So when you use the images in your mind, you can bring them into manifestation. I know people who use sex magic. And when you're in a balanced, harmonious, peaceful relationship, it's much more powerful. Okay? So these were things that were done in ancient times. Okay? Now, other examples of temples of this sort, especially in the East, you had Muslims or Turkish individuals, and this not only occurred there, but Japan and other places. They would have these bathhouse-like temples. And in these temples, young men were employed to carry out these favors. And this is one of the reasons, too, why a man or a male can go to an adult store or adult novelty store that has peepholes, get sucked off and leave. The origins come from way back in some places in the East where a male could go to a bathhouse and get sucked off and get massaged or have anal intercourse with these young men. This is why, and a lot of those men who would patron these bathhouses were the most prestigious ones, or the rich ones, the richer ones, or the more wealthy ones. And the young men or boys, which means servant, male servant, in these houses were more courtly, meaning that they catered to the elite, the people who had more riches, more money. Okay? As I said, everything we see today is a manifestation of something that happened in the past. Okay? I'll continue this more in the next one.